hello. Let me know if you can hear me and let me know if everything is working. Whoop. Press one, one. Hey, just so you know, mods, I do have Stream Chat open and I don't have to change anything to see you. I think I got the setup. I don't want to jinx it, but I think this is working. I think this is working. We're learning about Epsom salt, magnesium sulfate tonight. That stuff is amazing. Uh, so actually, I randomly got a thought in my head, and I was with my friend. We were eating dinner together, um, because it's his birthday, and I was like, "Wait, have you ever heard the term people do bath salts? How do you do a bath salt?" And he was like, "I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about." I was like, "I swear that's a thing. What do you do with bath salts?" So I asked Google. I was like, "How do you do a bath salt?" And the first thing that came up as the top answer was addicted to drugs, get help now. Here is a drug helpline. I was like, oh, wait, what? I thought it was something that you just put in the bath and you like soak in it. I was like, how, what? How do you do a bathtub? But I was also thinking, A, if it is a drug, that's really cool. Ah, thank you so much. I appreciate it, sweetheart. Um, but at the same time, I was like, it's cool that like that's a response to people asking how to take drugs. But at the same time, if someone's asking how to take a drug, I'm pretty sure they're nowhere near addicted. Not everybody who takes a drug gets addicted, but like if someone is addicted to drugs, they're probably not going to need to Google how to use them. So as smart and as cool as it is that that was the top results, I don't know how effective that's gonna be. But anyway, I did some learning and it was fucking hilarious. Ooh, thank you, Karino. Thank you for nipping in, sweetheart. Good to see you. So yeah, I'm just gonna do a cheeky turning down of the volume because this is on the speakerphone, which is good. Popcath. Popcath. That's all I read of your name. But thank you ever so much. I appreciate it, hun. There we go. I'll move this to the side so I can see people's names better. So this gets funnier and funnier. So I was like, oh, so bath salts are a drug. I did not know this. I thought they were just something you soak in the bath, right? And so I was like, what does it do to you? And hey, what's your name? Something veggie? Damn it, I missed your name. Sinarkamaniminifigal? What the fuck? What kind of name is that? How am I gonna say that next time? Um, Cernak McFeeble. No, we're going to go with McFeeble now. That's a great slip up. You're McFeeble now. There's no changing it. No going back. No take backsies. Sorry. Whoop. Um, so I was Googling it right in front of him while we were eating. I was just curious. I was like, oh my God, it's a drug. Oh my God. Like, and I learned so much about it. So apparently it has a similar effect on you as cocaine or meth. I was like, what? What? And it's incredibly psychologically harmful, both on the short term and the long term. So there was me opening up like, oh my God, you didn't know about bath salts? I didn't know about bath salts either. Apparently, this person went crazy and tried to dig all of the wires out of their body with a knife after taking bath salts. Another person um, ended up thinking that they were in a shootout just as a delusion. Me reading this off the phone. It was like somebody ended their life after thinking that the police were after them and that they spent several days in a psychosis where they thought that the police were trying to break in and that they surrounded the house and that there was a standoff when there was nobody there, right? There like it messed these people up terribly. And I was like, I had no idea that bath salts existed. And these things are so sinister, right? I was so amazed. I was like, how, what? And I was reading it out really, really loud. Um, and I was like, I did not know this about bath salts. And I was like, so how do you take a bath salt? And then I read that out and I was like, huh, and people just take this and like I was like, you can buy it at these places and those places. Like, I found out that people were getting away with selling it just on the street, like, not on the street, like a typical drug, just, like, in shops and things, because you can just say, "Not suited for human consumption." And because it's technically an ingredient in basic things like plant feeder and shit, right? People sell it technically for other uses, but they, like, sell it at places where you'd expect to be able to buy drugs or like drug paraphernalia. And I was like, oh my God, this can destroy your brain and it's just widely available. What's going on with this? Right. And I was like getting more and more shocked. And I love dark things. Like they intrigue me so much. So I was like, this is horrifically dark. I thought I was going to learn about a different kind of bath bomb. I thought I was just going to learn how to like condition your skin in the bath. And I found out all of this stuff about bath salts. Oh my God. Right. So yeah, I was reading this all out really loudly. Not aware of my voice because I was just using streamer voice, as I do. Um, I'm not aware of the people around me whatsoever, do not give two shits. Realize that I've been giving this TED talk on bath salts to a family of five across from us, less than a foot away from us, who have been speaking very quietly not to disturb anyone. And there's me being like, so anyway, about the bath salts. And they were all looking at each other anyway. I think like they were uh intrigued by the conversation because I did mention before that how there was a guy who thought that he had Trump's personal email. He was a father who had a disagreement with his daughter, and the daughter came to Reddit for help and was like, my dad is kind of delusional and weird, and we had a falling out, and I don't know how to fix it because he's kind of crazy and he thinks he's best friends with Trump. And people were like, wait, could you expand on the Trump thing? And she was like, yeah. So there's this random guy. I thought at first he was just mentally ill and he was just talking to himself because he's like, I'm best friends with Trump, and Trump told me this and Trump told me that, right? And like we all thought that he was just had a mental breakdown, but it turns out that someone is emailing him. When we said we didn't believe him, someone showed his emails. He showed his emails to us, and it was someone, just some random person pretending to be Trump, having casual conversations with my dad on a daily basis, like they're besties. And like nobody has the heart to tell him because he's like basing his whole life and identity around how he's besties with Trump. Like he it's such an important aspect of his existence and his self-esteem, right? And he's like actively following advice from this guy to the point where, and like I got cut off there because my friend was like, oh yeah, did he recommend that he inject bleach? And I was like, wait, what? And then I googled that and I found out that the amount of people who died of injecting themselves with bleach or went to the hospital with injecting themselves with bleach went up 115% because this guy literally recommended that people inject bleach. I did not know this. This is horrifying. This happened years ago too, and people still like him. What is this planet anyway? So he told me that. And then I was like, wow, that is horrifying. So, anyway, about this guy who thinks he's best friends with Trump but isn't best friends with Trump. I get this too. Like, sometimes random people pretend to be me, make whole accounts pretending to be me, and just befriend random other people on the internet. And people come into my stream and say, hey, it was cool speaking to you earlier. And I'm like, and I don't have a very good memory anyway. So like I might have spoken to you earlier. I have no idea, right? So I'm just like, ha. And like like it's one of those things where it's like maybe I know you, maybe I don't. Don't want to be rude, so I'm like, ha, good to see ya, bud, whoever you are. Because like the problem is as well, like I live IRL and in the internet. I'm not like one or the other. Like some people are total boomers, and they don't understand the internet at all. And like there are other people who live entirely on the internet and speak in memes and it's like another language and they're incomprehensible to anyone outside their age range, right? I am both. But the problem becomes when you're friends with people who are like, I don't know what the word is, um, like it's like being ambidextrous but for reality. Like you could exist in virtual reality just fine and reality just fine at the same time. Sometimes people are left-handed or right-handed. It's like some people have lives and jobs and other people have 4chan. Like, but some people are like tech, like ambi technical or whatever. Like they're both, right? And because I'm both, some people I know, I remember their name ish in real life, but I don't remember their username. So, and sometimes I remember your username, no idea anything about you IRL. So, like, someone who's known me for 10 years could come and bump into me IRL and I'd have no idea. I'd be like, who are you? what the fuck is happening? Whoop, and vice versa. So like that's an inconvenient aspect of it. And I was like, oh my God, I wonder how many people genuinely think that they're friends with me because some weirdo got lonely and didn't know how to get attention on their own. So they just used my face. But like most people who watch my stream regularly know that I would not DM them and be like, "Hey, would you like to give me some money?" Like every now and again I'll get a message from someone who's like, "Hey, I thought I was talking to you for a week and it turns out it's just some loser trying to scam me. Just so you know, maybe you should do something about that." And it's like, "You fell for it for a week?" People say a lot of things about a lot of people they don't know. Yeah, that's a huge aspect of most people's conversations, to be honest with you. Tits. Because lots of, like gossip rags and stuff, like for celebrities, they've existed for hundreds of years. Like there are medieval gossip rags about local celebrities, like the town mayor and shit, like um local artists and things like this, where there'll be whole dedicated like spreadsheets of information, like the early versions of newspapers weren't newspapers. I forget what they're called, but like the earliest version of a newspaper, there were people gossiping about who's sleeping with who's having an affair with who, and all that sort of stuff. Like it's really age old. We've been obsessed with that shit forever. Yeah, you're right, but still, there's a chance someone might what? I'm still mad that you didn't accept my friend request after one random game in Overwatch, lol. I hate to disappoint, but unfortunately, like most of the reasons that people send me a random friend request are not very wholesome. You gotta understand, even before I was a streamer, I was a girl. I was still a girl. I was a grill on the internet. And the main reason I got friend requests after Overwatch games was because people like, "Are you a girl? Are you single? How much do you weigh? How old are you?" You know? And like, "Are you a girling?" is novel like for the first 2 seconds. And then the rest of the eternity of your gamer life is just like, not again. No. No." Like it's so bad that like there is an automated email that they used, like an AI automated email that emailed workers in a company to tell them like, "Hi, your meeting is at this time." And like, and it didn't even have a voice. It was just an email that was signed off with a female name. There wasn't even a female voice to crush on. And it was just like, "Hi, I'm this person from this company here just to tell you you've got a meeting in 6 hours," or just to tell you that this thing is due, or my your manager wanted me to pass on this, whatever, right? And it would get constantly inundated with requests to go on a date. It was just an auto email with a female name. At this point, you could draw tits on a rock with a hole in it, and someone will be trying to make it legal to marry it. How much do you weigh for real? LMAO, who are these people? I know it's kind of funny, but like it's not ha ha funny. And like so when I get random friend requests on games where all I'll have to do, right? If I use a non-gendered name and say nothing, I get no friend requests. But if I just say, I don't know, Tracer to the left, and that's the only thing I said in the entire game, I would still get five friend requests after an Overwatch game. Like, I used to make drinking games out of Overwatch interactions. There are old streams of me doing this, where I'd be like, every time someone accuses me of being a soundboard because they can't believe that a real life girl would play computer games, right? I will take a sip and I'd be like, thank you, thanks for the res. And people will be like, is that a soundboard? And it's like, no, you can play games and have a vag at the same time. Like, why would I make a soundboard of a female voice? What do you think? I just love the abuse that I'm just some weird dude in America who has nothing better to do than get shouted at by 13-year-old boys to make a sandwich? Like, what? In what world would it be a perk? Like, it's so hard to get people to honor your call outs. Like, if I'm like, okay, everybody push, like, and or anything like that, no one listens. No one gives two shits. They don't follow any instructions. They're just like, wait, what are your measurements? How old are you? Are you really a girl? Are you a girl? And the worst one is like my inflection in my voice. It changes with age anyway, but like in my 20s, I noticed that if I got too excited or spoke in too high a pitch of a voice, people would be worried to interact with me. They'll be like, wait, are you a woman or a 10-year-old boy? And they're deciding which tier of annoyed and abusive to be, right? But if you talk in what is definitely an adult woman's voice, then, you stand half a chance, especially if there are other women in the team, of actually making a call out. But if they think you're like a 10-year-old boy, they're not gonna do shit. They're not gonna listen whatsoever. It's so annoying. It's like there are so many extra hoops just to get a basic thing done in a game. In a game. And it's maddening. So, like, the guys that sent friend requests where they'd actually fucking play and actually fucking listen and collaborate and not ask like weird details about my life, like whether or not I live alone, right? They were like gold dust. I'd be like, oh, yes, you can. I want to play with you again. And I ended up with so many friends on Overwatch. I had like maxed out. I found out that the maximum amount of friends you can have on Blizzard at the time in like 2018 or whatever was 200 friends because I maxed out and I couldn't make any more friends, right? And my favorite people to play with were gay men. I ended up with a herd of gay men that I used to get drunk with. And whenever we had like four people or three people instead of the full team, right? We'd get a random person in and they'd be like, wait, is that a soundboard? And all of my friends would just burst out laughing and we'd all take a sip to the point where I actually started leaning into it and I started doing impressions of the characters to see if I could get them to say it. So sometimes it wouldn't be an impression, sometimes it'd be a thank you. I appreciate that. Would you like some heels? I think they're going to push left next. Thank you for helping me. Don't res me. It's not safe. And like people would be like, "Oh my god, is that a soundboard?" I'd be like, "Yes!" Just drinking. And then like other times I would do Tracer or like other like just other characters. I'd be like, "Cheers, love." And they'd be like, "Oh no way. Is that it? No way." Like I'd do impressions of all of them. Sometimes not intentionally because I used to catch ticks off them because of the echolalia. So like I would just randomly be in a store and I'd be like, the cavalry's here! And like people would look at me like, what the fuck? What? Is there something wrong with her? Like people would like jump. Like people would spill their tea in coffees and like in cafes and shit because like I just randomly belt out a fucking voice line. You need to do voice acting, bro. You do them so well. Voice acting might be fun, but it take a lot of takes with me because if I have a day where I have a lot of ticks, then it's not gonna work. I mean, when I'm really focused and I get really good at something, I tick less when I do it. Like the stress and self-doubt will make me tick more. When I first started doing makeup, didn't really know much about makeup when I first started streaming, and I got better at it. And like when I first started doing makeup, I would smear it all up my face as a tick. And like I would mess it up and it was all like terrible looking in the early days and slowly I got better. Slowly, like things got incrementally easier and easier. Where I barely tick when I do my makeup anymore, which is pretty good to be fair. Thank you. I appreciate it, sweetheart. Damn, that soundboard gave me chills. The thing is, there's loads of different soundboards. There's loads of different women's voices for different uses, and it's not the only one I can do. Like, there's the deliberately trying to sound like a soundboard voice or like some sort of auto readout where you're like, "Thank you so much for putting money into my ass." Like, that was terrible, but you know what I mean. Like, you just have to speed things up and slow things down at random intervals that humans wouldn't do, and voila, you're artificial. I love that you did makeup on your face today. Like, just put a lilt where it doesn't belong. Speed up where you shouldn't. Slow down where you shouldn't. Are you from the USA? There you go. But then, like, there's others like the sat nav where it's like turn left. That's terrible. Turn left. You have arrived at your destination. Like that one's a bit different. There is an American one that's slightly more happy, but I can't picture what it sounds like at the moment. What does the American one sound like? Some people don't have tics when they sing. Would this work for you? Um, I am not very good at singing, so I'd probably still end up having a tic. Like the reason why people with Tourette's don't tic very often when they um, sing is because anything that engages your brain that you can focus on that is creative will tend to reduce your tics. Like I know people who have Tourette syndrome, but when they're doing photography, they don't tic. Like I know a guy who punches people in a face as a tic. He has like a boosh full pelt. He's a strong big dude too. Queuing is a nightmare for the lad, right? And when you put a camera in his hands, he's stock still. He's really calm. You'd never know he has Tourette's. Take that camera out of his hands, and every fucker knows he has Tourette's. Like I know so many people like that. I know another guy for whom it's drumming. He's a streamer too. When he drums, you wouldn't know he has Tourette's at all. Like it doesn't have to just be singing, but it tends to be if you're creative, and it works. Like if you're creative and you enjoy it, then it typically reduces the tics. Like times of like strong focus will help you to not tick. Um, so for me, I'm not particularly good at singing, so I don't think that would prevent tics quite as consistently as it would for someone who's good at it and enjoys it. Ah. I also have Tourette's, and focusing on something, especially something I enjoy, definitely helps. Yeah, I agree. I don't really tick very much. Um, when I do certain things, I think gaming can help. Sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes it does. It depends. I think the times where I tick the less are probably. I don't actually know. I'm not self-aware enough to know. I don't know anymore. I also have really bad memory issues. So if I do know, then I don't know right now. Your art would calm you down. Oh yeah, drawing. Sitting and drawing definitely helped a lot. Before I knew I had Tourette's, I used to suffer with tics a lot when I was a kid, and there wasn't really much I could do about it. So, um, I couldn't explain myself, and people would get upset with me, and it would be really difficult to manage my life. So, and my mom used to take me to, so I didn't get a formal education for most of my younger years. My mom was studying at university and she used to just take me to the library with her or take me to lectures with her. And you really shouldn't have to endure lectures if you have Tourette's. It's really challenging, right? But I used to just sit there and draw, and I would hyper focus on the drawing, and it would reduce the tics. And that was my way of managing it. Like, my mom never asked me if I wanted to bring my pens and pencils and crayons and paper and stuff, but I always would. I'd pack it myself, and I'd go there, and I'd whack out my like I had these really fancy little boxes and sets of different kinds of things like pens, pencils, crayons, paints. And I would whack out these big old drawings and just listen to the lecture in the background. And that helped me to not tick. I didn't really realize that's what I was doing, but I just noticed I got in less trouble if I was drawing. So unconsciously found a management technique. Seems like you tick less when whistling. That is true, actually. Uh, I do tick less when I'm whistling. Definitely. Um, yeah. It it it's a trade-off though, because you do seem a bit more sinister when you're walking behind people in the dark at night and you're whistling. I thought it would be less threatening than offering to fist them or shouting "Oi, dickhead" or something abusive, but apparently, no. Some people would rather have that. They find it less confusing. Hypothetically, if there were a cure for Tourette's, would you go for it at this point? I actually did a whole YouTube video about that because I get asked that question a lot. Um, Funnily enough, um, that video, I was really reluctant to put it up because I'd been so patient with people all day, every day, over and over again with this question. And at one point, I'd got asked it so much that I just snapped and I went on this long rant about like that what that question means, and like why people are asking it when you really think it through. The reason why people think that I might not take the cure is because they think my whole career is based on it. And like that there's no reason to like me except my Tourette's. So I would be losing everything of value to be normal in their eyes. And they're like, would you still do it? Would you still do it? A lot of people don't know what Tourette's is either. They just think it's just swearing. So they think that that's an actual, like, the considerations they think I'd be making are not the ones I'd be making. So I did this big old rant of just like, gah. And like the question doesn't really annoy me, but that day it did. And I was like, I don't know if I want to put this up on my YouTube channel. And my editor was like, no, do it. It's gold. Do it. Trust me, just do it. And like, there are people in my community that have been watching for years. There are people I've made who are friends that I now know, like, even offline. And they found me through that YouTube video, weirdly enough. That one and another one. There's like 3 YouTube videos which a lot of people I know in person found me through. So, like, I'm glad that I ended up posting them. Crazy. Crazy, crazy world. If the algorithm had just swayed one way or the other, just slightly, I'd have a completely different friend group right now. It was crazy. I swear to God, just ban people who ask that dumbass question. I feel like most people aren't doing it in a mean-spirited way. They're not trying to hurt my feelings. They just don't really think through why they're asking the question. Like, when I'm in taxis, there are a lot of guys who ask me, "So, where do you live?" And I'll just give some vague area, some big vague area. And they'll try to whittle it down. Like, I think that actually happened. Yeah, it happened today somewhere, but I can't remember where. Me and my friend were asked, and they're like, "So, where did you come from?" And I went, "Ah, this region." And they're like, "So," and they started listing off cities as if they were like pressuring me to say specifics when I'd already told them as much as I was going to say. Like, it's not like I needed reminding where I live. Like, if I didn't tell you the first time, let me just not fucking tell you, right? But I get asked that so often in taxis. Do you live alone? Where are you traveling to? Staying with friends? Where do you work? And it's like, I am a woman. Don't be asking that shit. I don't know you. You could be a stalker. You could be a fucking weirdo. Like, there are women who have their name tag on their tit all day because work tells them they have to have their name tag on their tit. And then they get chased around in the car parks and have people like stalk them on like Instagram and shit. And like terrorize them for years. Like I you and they're just being oblivious as fuck. They don't know how much danger they're asking me to put myself in to just satisfy their idle curiosity. They don't understand the statistics. They don't understand. They don't live in that world. No one's interested in them like that. Nobody's gonna try and climb through their window and do shit to them in the night. So like they get to be oblivious. They're not being mean. They just don't know what the question means. They don't live in the world that you do. And I feel like it's the same with Tourette's. Like people who ask, would you take the cure for Tourette's? I haven't really thought through the reason why they're asking, and they haven't really thought through why people would have any feelings about it. Like, it means something completely different to someone who's just idly curious. They're not being malicious. I don't think they should be banned. They don't understand, is all. I found your tag sitting in front of the camera giving advice one day, and I just kept watching your channel. That's cool. I'm glad you did. It's weird. I'm very surprised that anyone comes to watch me, to be honest with you. I don't know what to do for content. Never have. Not very good at planning either. Very surprised I got this far. Very grateful though. You guys are amazing. Everyone want to be a celebrity until it's time to deal with being a celebrity. Oh wow, thank you ever so much, Blood of My Enemies. I appreciate that. Thank you. Um, I kind of feel like that's not the life of a celebrity though. That's just the life of a woman. Like I kind of feel like that's just I'm not even talking about celebrity level stuff there. I'm just talking about being female, honestly. I'm glad you're back after you've been dealing with some health issues, sweetheart. Hope you're doing a lot better. But yeah, bath salts. So I was saying this really loudly to this family that was being really, really quiet, and then I suddenly realized the volume of my voice after I'd essentially given a TED talk on bath bath salts, how you take them, where you buy them, what they're made of, how crazy you could end up today. Like it was, I felt so bad. Like I found out all of this stuff in the moment. Like oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. But I realized I was now informing the room, so need to relearn how to monitor the volume of my voice. Honestly. Hi. Well, I think your Tourette's made you mature and understanding. I don't know. I don't know if that's the case though, because I feel like most of my personal development came from having to deal with being a carer, a live at home carer for most of my life, not having access to formal education, dealing with isolation, having to overcome social phobias and things like this. I feel like a lot of my centralized identity came from the way that I chose to process my environment. And that's something I personally built. I don't think it was like some passively acquired thing that came with Tourette's, because normally Tourette's makes you impulsive, have anger management issues, learning difficulties, more prone to addiction and self-harm. Like normally the default character traits that you end up having to deal with when you're born with Tourette's are not positive and are not well received by society. So I don't think it really did make me patient and understanding. I think it just made it harder to become patient and understanding. I had to just acquire those elements of being a human in hard mode. Looks like Sweetenita's been upgraded to the deluxe room, a sofa instead of a cuck chair. I still have that cuck chair video where the guy is like, "Why does every hotel have a cuck chair?" And then it's just a picture of his hand pointing at the chair, pointing at the bed. There's always a chair in every hotel in the corner, pointed at the bed, right? Well, the music that goes on with that compilation is the boom, beep, boom, beep, bow, bow, boom, beep, boom, beep, bow, bow. And every now and again, like when I reach out my hand like this, it will trigger the boom, beep, boom, beep, bow, bow tick. Because, like, from my POV, I'm doing the cuck chair shimmy. Just like, look, look. But yeah, I'm not going to attribute any of my character traits to having Tourette syndrome, honestly. I think I chose most of my loadout at this point. I feel like you get default settings, you get a temperament when you're born, but then you gain EXP and you can just like do your own build regarding personality and skill set after that. And I think I'm too far too removed from my default setting now to for me to say that like any physical ailment or anything decided anything about me. Hi. I wish I loved you, but you're a simp. Hey, thank you, Kim. Very appreciated, sweetheart. Whoop. And Egress, good to see you. Thank you, thank you. Let's puke on your tents. I'd be happy if my mama gave me a loadout like that.
I can cut a piece of wood in half just by looking at it. It's true, I saw it with my own eyes.
Thanks for that. Basquiato, thank you. Interesting name, dude. So yeah, I learned about bath salts. I also got to teach my friend about Mummy Brown. I was like, "You ever heard of Mummy Brown?" And they were like, "What? What is?" And like sometimes I see a look on my friends' faces where I'm like, I can tell whether or not they're deciding if they have the like energy points for another TED talk. It's like they know they're opening a can of worms. They know I'm gonna need a wind up, and they're like, "Fine, fuck it, I'll ask," right? And I'm like, "Mummy Brown, if you don't know what that is, prepare to be devastated," right? And like basically, Mummy Brown is a literal paint color that you can buy to paint pictures with. You know those cute little artists on the street corners painting pictures of trees and shit? Those people used to use the dead bodies of stolen, like actual stolen mummies from Egypt, crushed down because the bone powder made a pretty shade of brown, and they called it Mummy Brown. Because the British were eating Egyptian mummies en masse. You could order an Egyptian mummy to unwrap There were unwrapping parties. It was just like a cool little thing to do at your house party. Invite everyone else over for drink like tea and crumpets and to unwrap someone who's been dead and untouched for thousands of years. Like the sheer level of disrespect that the Victorians had for Egyptian archaeology. There used to be so many thousands of like ancient Egyptian people who were dead in tombs, right? Um, that were just taken on the whim of British people. The posh ones would buy the jewelry and the artifacts just to keep in their personal collections. And like there'd be people doing mummy unwrappings and they would eat them. There were actual medicines at the time that had powdered mummy in. Like they would powder the mummified remains of ancient Egyptians because they thought that it would give them powers or give them strength or heal them when they're sick. So there was medication and paint and house parties where Egyptian mummies were the ingredient. We've lost so much history. There are so many things that we've lost to the fucking weird cannibalistic desires of Victorian British people. Hey, Alan, thank you so much. But like, I find it intriguing. Death is not dignified, right? I think that there are lots of really shit reasons to die and lots of really weird things to be done with your remains. Like, I always think about how weird it is to sit on a leather couch. I know that some cows spent their entire life waiting to die so that we can smush their asses into them for several years and then throw them in a landfill. And like, I wonder how many paintings are still in existence today that just have random bits of dead person smeared into them. Like, there must be quite a few paintings done in that era that still exist to this day. And just have some random guy like Ralph just smushed into him. Ralph used to be a tree maker, a tree maker, a shoemaker, but now he's part of a tree, I guess. And it's like, how much would it suck if you inhabit your remains until every last speck is dispersed? Because if that was the case, and someone hanged your painting that your remains were painted into in their bedroom or their bathroom, that sounds good to some people, but really it's not. Like I think a lot of people thinks that if they were a ghost or if they were dead, they would like to like go and haunt random celebrities and watch them have sex and stuff. The thing is, if you can see all, you can see all forever. People age, people do gross stuff when no one's looking, and things get seriously boring. Yeah, you're not gonna have like Reddit and TikTok and Instagram Reels if you're a ghost. Like, phones do not have souls. You are gonna have to entertain yourself, or worse, you're gonna have to trust other people's algorithms. You're gonna have to stand and look over other people's shoulders while they scroll. And when they're done, you're gonna have to go find someone else who's scrolling. And like, they're gonna be watching boring shit and cringe shit. Do you know what percentage of TikTok is cringe? Because I didn't realize my algorithm's fucking great. But like recently I had to see like a few of what other people have been watching in a row and I was like, "Dear God, this is disgusting." As a ghost, you can entertain yourself by messing with people. I don't know, if it was easy to mess with people, I feel like they wouldn't just push cups around. Like I really do think that if it was easy to mess with people as a ghost, like you go, I just mess with people. It's like good luck with that. Like they fucking struggle to like slightly shift your shoe and get you to notice at the same time. Like a lot of people, they look back at footage from like 2 years ago and they're like, oh, the coat fell off the hook. I didn't even notice. It's like it took you 2 years to realize that a ghost was trying to fuck with you, and all they could manage was like moving something slightly. Like, imagine going from this level of capability, to being able to push things half an inch sometimes. Like, I feel like if it was common for ghosts to have the ability to, like, yeet things across the wall and become an apparition and shit, make people poop themselves, like, I feel like more people would do it. And also, mediums would be out of business if it was easy to fuck with humans. Because, like, why would we need someone to be like, I'm getting an A, maybe a K? Anyone? K? Like that long drivel, right? When you could just like, why would that exist? If you, when you're dead, could just literally pop up and go, "Oi, grandson, I left the real will out of grandma's reach. It's in the fridge on the top shelf. There you go. Thank you. Make sure she doesn't get a penny. She killed me." And it would be that simple. And we'd never need mediums again. Like, if you think you could fuck with people when you're dead, explain why we have mediums. So whatever level of capability you think you're gonna have, it's gonna be less. Blunk. I don't believe in all that stuff, but I'm not the motherfucker to find out. I am definitely what I would consider to be fatally curious. Fatally curious. Like, curiosity should have killed me many a fucking time, right? But like, so if I saw like some creepy apparition, like in a room that I walked past, if I walked past a doorway and out of the corner of my eye I saw someone sitting there, and then I looked directly and there's no one sitting there, I'd be like, "Hello? Are you a ghost? Is there life after death for real? Could you like flick the lights if there's like life after death?" Um, cool. Have you been watching me shit? Be honest now. It's not like I could do anything about it. I just want to know because like if ghosts can haunt the living, I have never shat alone. And that is quite honestly horrifying. Because like think about it, right? I'm not even like some huge celebrity or nothing. I'm just a random Twitch streamer, right? But there are millions of people who've witnessed my content. There's got to be at least one of them that's died, right? And it's like, huh, wonder what Sweet Anita is doing because they spent like 4 hours a day watching me, right? So like, why not go watch your IRL? Could you imagine being fucking Britney Spears or someone like truly famous? Like, if ghosts are real, those people have never done anything alone their entire lives. They've never shat alone, they've never gotten changed alone. Like, they must have had like a swarm of like 7 million ghosts just stood around them while they're trying to take a shit, you know? And the thing is, if that's the case, I'm kind of glad I don't know. I'm kind of glad it's ambiguous. I'm glad we don't know for sure if there's any kind of afterlife, that there's no dead set, scientifically proven, conclusive evidence, because that is genuinely fucking horrifying. Gonna go watch Keanu Reeves take a shit. But you're listening to this and you're like, good idea? You're supposed to pity people. You're supposed to be like, oh my god, their privacy. That's terrible. And you're like, nope, sounds like a good idea. Did I just give a bunch of people? Maybe I talked about this to the wrong crowd, honestly. Because you fuckers love watching. What? Imagine how many ghosts there would be if humans become ghosts. Like, how many humans have ever lived? Well, that's the thing to me. Like, there are some things that there's like some serious plot holes in our conventional idea of ghosts, honestly.
Why shouldn't you marry hardware engineers? They have floppy disks.
Thanks for that. Blah. I'd make ghosts so annoyed if they followed me around all the time. Mm, I don't think I'd annoy ghosts. I think they'd laugh at me a lot, to be quite honest with you. I think they'd laugh at me. I do some funny shit. Don't remember half of it either, so someone watch me do my funny shit every day, at least somebody gets to like actually perceive it, remember it, like act on it, whatever. Because I do. Like when I used to sleep with my ex, at the end of it, I used to be like, fuck off. And be like, did you like that too? I'd be like, get out. And the worst part is I'm mad that I can't remember the funnier shit because sometimes like we'd both be dying of laughter. Can't remember any of it now. I'm sure it was funny though. Huh? You live under Tori? I don't have anyone living upstairs that I know of, but if I am unknowingly living off under someone called Tori, that is terrifying. Could you like do me a solid and ask them to move out? Or at least pay rent? One of the two. Monkers. 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 What? Gino, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Whoop. Also, I'm kind of hungry. And in my head, I just said to myself, I'm kind of hung. Like, ever since I was a kid, I always say for short for hungry, I'd say I'm kind of hung. And like, people would laugh at me back then, and I wouldn't know why because I was a kid. When the penny dropped and I finally understood, it didn't shake the term for me. It still felt like that was the right word for being hungry. I don't think it's ever going to change. I think I'm going to be like 78 and still turning to people and be like, you know what? I'm kind of hung. Are you hung too? At 78, every part of everyone is hung. So we get in Golfmas in July. Oh yeah. So I'm gonna start Golfmas in July from Saturday this week. Like I've decided. We're starting it on
The other
Saturday.
day, my wife asked me to pass her lipstick, but I accidentally passed her a glue stick. She still isn't talking to me.
Thanks for that. Yep.
An ego and a superego walk into a bar. The bartender says I'll have to see some ID.
Nope, don't get it. Whoop. Your dad goes hard. Oh, it took me a whole minute to get. Well, good for you. I don't have that kind of download or upload speed right now. Maybe it's because I'm hung. I see what you did there. Get out. Do you have snacks? No. I mean, the hotel left me snacks, but I can't eat them because they're not vegan. I always feel really bad about like wasting them and not eating them because like technically it's not going to hurt any animals or destroy the environment or whatever if I choose to put them in my mouth or put them in the bin, but I still don't want to eat them. It's so silly. It's okay, you don't have to. I'd imagine they recycle some of them. Oh no, these are like fruits and chocolates and stuff. Like there's no it looks so good too. Like it's really tasty looking stuff. It's all put together so fancy as well, but can't eat it. But part of it is like I have allergies and like I get like these big reactions like this was all bright red earlier. I've resisted itching it and I think it's going down actually because this isn't as bad as it was earlier. But like this went bright red and was like on fire, so itchy, like I'd just been like attacked by a fire ants or something. Like I can't be doing that to myself intentionally, and anything with milk is gonna do that several fold. I remember the last time I had dairy, I had eczema so bad that my body started healing to the bed sheets, and I used to have to tear myself off my bed sheets, and like it would actually cause flicks and sprays of blood on my wall next to my bed. Like I would have to wash my wall on my bed because there were sprays of blood from healing and having to rip myself off of my bed.
My husband says I'm too competitive. I told him I already knew that.
Am I just slow today? Do I need a coffee? I'm scared to drink a coffee because I'm wearing a white top though. Shush!
I remember when I was a kid, I opened my fridge and noticed one of my vegetables was crying. I guess I have some emotional cabbage.
That was awful. Like, that was genuinely so bad. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Aquaman.
What do you call a bunch of cows fighting to the death? Cattle Royale.
Oh no. We're not doing this again, are we? I still am seeing a therapist for the last time. This is so bad. Like, I feel like some of these are so bad. I feel like you should apologize to your mothers because they went to so much effort and they made you. Thanks, Popo. I've started experimenting with stinging nettle tea
If you're
infusion.
wondering why don't ghosts like rain, it's because it dampens their spirits.
Ugh. Like, actually so bad. Brother, ugh. Some moms just think dad's a joke. Wait, was that even. Were you trying? Was that an attempted dad joke? That's even sadder than a dad joke. What? What? Do you have a cool name or just Anita? Anita's a cool name. Shut the fuck up. What's your name? Name one better
It's
name.
been months since I bought the book How to Scam People Online. It still hasn't turned up.
I feel like if I don't react, this will stop. Right, guys? Right? Right? Surely. You shit? Your shit's in bed? Have you tried Deep Rock Galactic? Deep Rock Galactic sounds like one of those like American death cults where everyone like paints triangles on their forehead and lives off fucking strawberry waffle biscuits until like a specific date when they're supposed to be abducted to the mothership or some shit. And it just turns out that there's arsenic in the biscuits. Did I get it right? That's exactly what it is. Huh. Good luck with that. Diphtheria. What's what is the pirate's favorite letter? No, 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 no. Oh my god, that's so bad. No. Get him out of here. Everyone spit on him.
Wife, I'm pregnant. Husband, hi pregnant, I'm dad. Wife, no, you're not.
That twist was a bit of an improvement, to be fair. I was talking about how there are many cultures around the world who historically only pass down like um, land and um, names through matrilineal lines.
What do you call a cheap circumcision? A rip-off.
And the reason why is because it's mother's baby, but father's maybe. So, like, because technically it's harder for a father to make you believe that your kid is yours when it's not. And it's easier for a mother to make a kid, to be like, it's your kid, I swear. The only true way to know that you have a genuine heir is if you follow the matrilineal line, which means that like surnames should be passed on from like to the woman. Like the woman's surname should be passed on to your kids. Like if you have a mother and father, like it would make so much more sense for the kid to take the mother's name. And some cultures realize this, but ours did not. What? I also learned that in France, apparently, I don't know if this is like a myth, but apparently in France, paternity tests are illegal. I can't get over that.
At the age of 65, my grandma started walking 10 kilometers a day. She's 92 now and we have no idea where she is.
But yeah, in France, they have what's it called? They have tits. They apparently there's a law against getting paternity tests, and you can be fined like tens of thousands and maybe even prison time. I think like it's really severe, like really really bad. Why are they illegal? So apparently, so if this is true, I was listening to a TikTok about it. I don't know if TikTok is the best source of information. I feel like you should find sources to verify these things. But according to TikTok, the reason why France has made it illegal to get paternity tests is because so many people cheat that it's going to break up a lot of
What do you
families.
call a wheel of cheese that you throw to someone else? A frisbee.
Oh my God, that was so bad. Like that was actually fucking awful. That was such a bad joke. But yeah, like in France, they make it illegal to get a paternity test because it's considered not particularly serious and incredibly common. Like 5 in 10 men and 4 in 10 women have had extramarital affairs in France, apparently, according to the statistics. So um, they made it illegal to preserve the sanctity of families and to preserve family peace because they were worried that a lot of families would break up if people genuinely knew just how common it was for someone to be raising a kid that isn't theirs. Oh, it's streets o'clock. Oh no. Can you guys still hear me? There we go. Fixed it. That's stupid. I actually agree that that's kind of stupid. I kind of feel like if you what's the word? Like nobody should be forced against their will to raise a kid that isn't theirs. It should always be willing. Like and knowingly. I don't think it's fair to dupe people into thinking that they're biologically related to someone that they're not. I don't think that's fair or okay. I don't even think we should lie to people who've been adopted about whether or not they're genetically connected to their parents or not, because what it shouldn't matter. Like it shouldn't matter. I think that a truly good person would love their parents whether they were biologically connected to their parents or not and things like that. I don't think that's why it's essential. I just think it's important that people fucking know. Like, there are so many implications and ways that it can backfire to lie about someone's genetic connection with you. So many ways. It's so fucking important. It is very toxic. I can't believe that, like, someone would do that, would pass a law like that. That's crazy. So unethical. Ah, I've got a chin. Why do you like cock? Thank you ever so much. I appreciate it, sweetheart.
If Schrodinger's tree falls and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound?
Was that meant to be a joke? I was lucky till now, but now I'm developing trust issues. I think that, like, over time, I think slowly most humans learn that looking over your shoulder all the time is not worth it. Um, that if people break your trust, just find people who don't have to resist breaking your trust. Like, one of the biggest things that I would tell the next generation of people before they got to be in relationships is if somebody has a lapse in judgment and they cheat, or someone promises not to do something really important and they still do it, if that someone has to resist hurting you, they're dog shit and they're not worth it. Because normal, mentally healthy people do not have to resist hurting you, whether it's emotionally or physically. That they don't need to be having a good day to not hit you. You know, they don't have to be sober to not cheat on you. Like, if you can trip and accidentally fuck up because you're holding back the urge to screw the person who loves you the most over at any given point, like you have to actively daily be like, oh, I want to fuck other people, but I won't because it will hurt your feelings. Move on. That's not a relationship, that's a fucking time bomb. There are definitely so many people out there who would definitely love you. You never have to settle for a piece of shit. Someone's punching walls, leave before they start punching you. People who aren't emotionally mature enough to have the kind of relationship that you both agreed to deserve to be alone. That's not you doing it to them, that's them doing it to them. I've never had to resist cheating. I've never been like tempted to cheat and then decided not to. I've never been in a situation where I would ever even consider harming a partner. Like that's just not how it goes. Like that's not settling for love, that's settling for no love at all. Like you could have had someone who loved you, but you settled for someone who has to resist hurting you and fails sometimes. Why? Poggers! What color? Exactly, it's settling for abuse. I feel like the best way to make a happy relationship is meet people in the middle. Like you should be getting with someone who matches your level of monogamy. I feel like that's a huge cornerstone. So if you're not a very monogamous person, or you would sleep with lots of people, but you don't because your partner wouldn't like it, you should be with someone who feels the same. You should be with someone who like would sleep with other people, but they'll be monogamous because it's what
A
makes you
Finn,
both
a
comfortable.
Swede, and a Norwegian went into a bar. The bartender asked, "Is this a fucking joke?"
Oh my god. Yeah, like you should get with people who match your energy because otherwise it'll end. Like if you get with someone who's normally polyamorous and you're really monogamous, it's going to be a struggle. If you get with someone and you're like not very sexual at all and they're hypersexual, it's going to cause a struggle. You kind of need to, you don't have to see your partner eye to eye on everything. You don't have to have everything in common. In fact, a lot of relationships work really well when you have very little in common. But you should be seeing eye to eye on your boundaries. You really should. Bam. It doesn't surprise me. You have a cock. What topping is on the waffle? Look, I've never asked Waffle who tops him. It's none of my business. Thank you. I appreciate it, sweetheart. Oh no.
I told my wife she should embrace her mistakes and she gave me a hug.
Oh! Oh my god! What a fucking roast! That one was good. That one was dark. What? Your mother. Your mother. The slut. Why are you all laughing? Did I miss something? Am I just seeing a delayed reaction? I think my internet's just being slow. I think I'm just seeing your reaction to things earlier. We might be on a bit of a delay at this point. I'm currently rewatching Arcane because I haven't watched it in years. I know that there's more Arcane coming out soon, so I'm touching up on it, and I'd forgotten just how visually like perfect every last scene is. Like every last scene of Arcane is a work of art. You could take a still from any moment, any split second, any frame, and every single frame is a work of art. No. My dick is long. Whoop. Thank you. I appreciate it, hun. I need to watch it full stop. Oh, if you're into animation of any kind, if you can watch animated stuff, I mean, even if you're not really into animation, to be fair, like the story is very, very good. But Arcane is like up there in upper tier, upper echelon, upper high quality, like the best animated series is definitely been very well put together. Very, very well. Apparently, Arcane is really good. Yeah, it's on my top list. Like, if I were to write a list of like best animated shows to watch, I think Scavenger's Reign.
Why did the
Think,
E go to the bathroom and come out as an E? Because he had a vowel movement.
ugh,
What's the best thing about elevator jokes? They work on so many levels. Just say no to drugs. Well, if I'm talking to my drugs, I probably already said yes.
All right, that one's not too bad. Not too bad. It's forgivable. Blink. Whoop. Let's order a pizza and laugh. But yeah, Arcane, Apex, Apex, Arcane, Scavenger's Reign. Fuck, I forgot all the names of my favorite shows. Arcane, Scavenger Reign, Attack on Titan. There we go. The Blue-Eyed Samurai is fantastic as well. Like, if you haven't seen the Blue-Eyed Samurai on Netflix, do it. Do it now. What? What would Willy Wonka be like as a rock star? Like Gene Simmons, but wilder. I didn't think that was I thought that was gonna be a genuinely. Uh, but like, to be fair, a lot. Have you guys seen the conspiracy theory that Snowpiercer, the movie, is just the sequel to Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory, and that Willy Wonka grew up to be the leader of to be the like the person who runs the train. Because like it sounds insane that Snowpiercer is the sequel until you watch like there's a YouTube video that convinced me. I was like, this is the wildest theory I've ever fucking heard. But the more I watched the YouTube video about it, the more I was like, it's concerning how much sense this is making. Snowpiercer is really good as a movie, though. It's good as a series. The movie's insane. The movie is very, very good. It's gripping. It's riveting from start to finish. Very gory though, not for the faint-hearted, but really good. Really, really good. I and even more fucked up when you think it's like after Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory. Like it gets more fucked up in a very good way, to be fair. I like it. I didn't know there was a way to make it more fucked up, but it does. Hello, governor. Big W on the train. The engine needs tiny people to operate it. You know, I hadn't even made that connection. But it really does help make the case, doesn't it? Hi. I've just set my command as like the chair that Sweet Anita's on. Well, you can get your own customized, and I find that fucking hilarious because I'm not at home, and I've totally eclipsed my chair. You can't see the chair that I'm on. You have no clue what I'm sitting on. Like literally. I was gonna get coffee, and then I was like, I'm scared to get coffee because if I get a coffee, I'm in a white shirt. It's like I might have to buy a new shirt if I get myself a coffee. The Boys is such a great show. Yes, I agree. Gen V and Boys, The Boys are really dark and very, very good. I wish I loved you, but you're a simp. For all you know, you could be sitting on it, pretending to be on a chair, levitating. Yeah, I could be sat on a femboy maid for all you know. Could be 8 cats taped together with gum. Do you have a budgie as a kid? No, I never had a budgie. I knew people with budgies though, and it made me never want to get a budgie because they're animals that are highly social that would spend their life free, flying for miles. And people just put them in a fucking cage. And I think you have to be a bit mental to do that. Like, you're supposed to get animals because you like them.
I'm sorry and I apologize mean the same thing. Except at a funeral.
True. Very true. Slut. I keep meaning to say something and then forgetting. Oh yeah. So I didn't know this, but when you whisper the word gum, it sounds like cum. I'm not going to demonstrate, but maybe you can try it at home. Maybe you can see if you whisper the word gum, does it sound like cum? Because I have a lot of friends who do, who do, who do what's that thing where you're like, I'm going to do some ASMR. There we go. Right. So I have friends who do ASMR, right? And the funny thing about ASMR is that there are a lot of people who are into it sexually. Like for most people, they just listen to it and it gives them like brain tingles and it feels like a tickle up the back of their spine and it helps them relax and fall asleep and they really just enjoy listening to people whisper and tap shit, right? And that's fine and harmless. And there are lots of people who produce ASMR content who are just trying to provide for people who want help falling asleep or just want some relaxing background noise while they work and stuff like that. Some people really enjoy that stuff. But they don't want to be sex workers. They don't want to have to take on all of the mean behavior from the public and all the judgment and stigma, and all that stuff that sex work takes on. So they do the side of it that is just for like the average person and they choose not to do any of the sexual side of ASMR, right? And like people try to make them do the sexual side of it by doing donor messages going, "Hey, could you shout out my username and tell me your favorite flavor of gum?" Or donating and going, "Can you say I love the taste of gum?" Or like, things like this, "I've got gum in my mouth." These sorts of things. And they donor message this hoping that the fucking ASMR people will do it and not realize what it means. It's like the people who donor message and ask me to put my elbows together. Blink. I love you. That's a good thing for an ASMR streamer to be aware of. I think like you don't really need to because you can get bots to
Shout out
edit
to my
away.
grandma, that's the only way she can hear.
Thanks for that. It's hard when for women doing ASMR. Oh, that comment. I was gonna read it, but it zoomed away, so I have no idea what you were saying now. But like, I don't know. I think it's just a matter of like some people don't respect boundaries, and like even if someone says no, I don't want to do that, they're like, no, you're doing it anyway because I want you to, and that's the real issue. I don't think the issue is whether you're a man or a woman or anything like that. I think that the issue is some people don't respect boundaries, and there isn't enough consequences. There really isn't enough consequences for that. Pain is gay. Do you know of a good video game store in London? Who goes into video game stores anymore? What is this, the 90s? Like, you can just order whatever game you want online. You can just download it directly to your PC in an instant or your games console. Like, why would you go in person anymore? It seems like a waste of time. Because, like, you could just watch any trailer for any new game ever on the internet in an instant. And it would be way more efficient than trying to look at the cases and reading and trying to get synopsis from a game's case or like just looking at the different flavor of booba printed on the front cover and going, I'll assume these have good physics. Like, you could be so much more accurate in your selecting of games now. But also, no, I don't live in London, so I wouldn't be able to recommend any kind of store in London. Like, London is not the kind of place you want to live. That is the kind of place I even want to visit, to be honest. Ah, I barely have tits. Whoop. Pyramid breasted Tomb Raider was the best. Yeah, I bet hugs from her were fucking deadly. Those things were weapons unto themselves. Like, I feel like a lot of people would agree with you though. I wouldn't want to live in Blackpool either. Bitch, I wouldn't even want to live in the UK at this point. Like the UK is a proper shithole right now. What? Hasn't it always been? Right, so I passed a town called Hungerford today. Hungerford, spelt Hungerford. And I went to my friend, I looked him dead in the eye and I went, huh, wonder why it's called Hungerford. I wonder what that used to mean. Basically, the town means road to dead land, road to barren land. That's what it means. And Well, I'm saying, like, when you ask, hasn't it always been a shithole? I wish I could disagree with you. I wasn't around in, like, 1309. I wasn't around in the year 1722. I wasn't around 2000 years ago, but judging by the names of the places around here, it's always been a shithole. Yeah, I was talking about my theory as to why British people are so hypersexual, because I have a light theory and a dark theory. I don't know if you're interested in either, but I have a theory as to why, like, because the Brits are really hypersexual. Like, every village, every built up area you can imagine, every town, every city, every village has a area for dogging, an allocated public sex area for people to meet up and have casual sex in, right? Our celebrations before, like our indigenous people, the culture that built up over thousands of years was to have basically loads of drug and orgies every time. Like, hey, the summer solstice, orgy time. You know, woo, winter solstice, orgy time. Ooh, it's Easter, orgy time. Like, everyone has been for thousands of years hypersexual. Like, the Bombay Bad Boy was a type of pot noodle, like a ramen pot, just noodle pot, right? It came out in the UK as a new flavor. Do you know how they advertised it? They called it the slag of all noodles. And they showed a video of a guy trying to buy pot noodle and getting slapped around the face everywhere he tried to buy it. So he had to go to the seediest part of town, to a place that looked like a brothel. And he's like, "Do you do pot noodle?" And she was like, "Yeah, around the back," looking around trying to like see if anyone could tell that she was about to do it. And they scurry off to a bedroom to eat pot noodle together. He's like, "Come on, do you do pot noodle? I'll pay extra." And they're like, "The smuttiest of snacks, Bombay Bad Boy." Like, that is how we advertised it, right? There's a Cornetto advert that I remember because I was under the age of 10. Like, I must have been somewhere between the age of 5 and 8 when I saw this advert. And like, there's this advert for Cornettos. There's a song that plays, and it's been like the advert for Cornetto song, like for like decades and decades, for generations. And it's the And like that song, the first time I ever heard it and remembered it was this this guy, and he's like, "New Orleans Cornetto," and she's like, "Give it to me," and he doesn't want to give it to her. And she's like, "Give me cornetto and you'll get me." And she drops her trench coat. She's just come home with the shopping. She drops her trench coat and she's in BDSM gear. She's a dominatrix under there. She just went out in a trench coat and just casually put over a corset, stockings, suspenders, high heeled boots, a whip, you know? And like she wore that, I'd be so suspicious as a partner if I came home and like my partner came home in a trench coat and she was like, "Oh, I was just shopping." And it's like, really? You put all that all on to go shopping, love? But she's just like, "Give me the cornetto." She drops the trench coat and he's like, and I can't remember. I still can't remember whether he like offers her the cornetto, if he's like, "Yes, queen," or if he's just like, "No, this is mine." I can't remember to this day. But either way, my introduction to ice cream adverts as a child, you'd think they'd be marketing to children. You'd think that it would be like, "Get a new Rolls Cornetto. They're really wicked, innit?" And it'd be like loads of boys skateboarding going, "Yeah, I can go really high when I eat a Cornetto." But no, it's like BDSM fucking temptress kind of shit going on. Like every single herbal essences advert. Shampoo. Try to sell shampoo to a Brit. It's a woman going, yes, yes, making like orgasm noises, just massaging her scalp. I shit you not, right? Everything is hypersexual here. Everything, and has been since the beginning of time, right? And why was I bringing this up? Oh, I have two theories as to why. One of them is a really dark, disturbing theory, and the other is just kind of like, meh, yeah, I guess that makes sense. So which one do you want first? Do you want the really dark theory as to why the Brits are hypersexual, or do you want the really like meh? It's kind of lighthearted, kind of funny. Lol lol lol. Move on with my day. Which one do you want? The dark version or the light theory? The dark theory or the light theory? What you up for? Maha. Start dark. Really? You want this to go from oh god, huh? You don't want to go, huh? Oh god. I kind of feel like, huh? Oh god is better. It's better for the story take. You know what? Fuck you. I'm the streamer. We're going light first, right? So the light theory is that we just have shit weather. No, really. Like I think that one of the reasons why we're really obsessed with sex is because we have shit weather. The majority of people in the UK, the most common time to be conceived is during winter because there's fuck all else to do. And it's funny because in the medieval times and further back, our sleeping pattern and our work days and our work weeks were completely different. I don't know if you know this. Like people didn't typically sleep 7 to 8 hours in the evening. They usually had two naps, and they would wake up and have a waking period in the middle of the night where they'd get up, make themselves some food, do some shit, and go back to bed. Like it was really common. The actual norm, the average circadian rhythm, or however you want to describe it, of the average human was not to sleep all of the sleep of your day in one entire block. But it also meant that, like back then, people would work the land. They would make hay while the sun shone. But there wasn't as much work and labor to be doing in the winter. Like you didn't really have anything to be made. Like it wasn't a good time to be thatching a roof. It wasn't a good time to be harvesting your food. It wasn't a good time to be doing jack shit, to be quite honest with you. So people were bored and the weather was shit. So even if there was shit to do, you would feel shit while doing it. And this means that there wasn't really much that felt fun. And like when you're devoid of sunlight, like you will be in the UK during like the winter months, or to be honest, most months, right? You're going to have less vitamin D. If you're getting less exercise because it's fucking cold out and you don't want to move, you're going to be getting less endorphins. You're going to be getting less neurochemicals that are essential to movement and libido and like hunger regulation and things like that. Your whole nervous system is going to be out of whack. You're going to get seasonal depression. It's common as fuck around here. In the UK, seasonal depression is really, really common, right? So, what raises morale, gets you exercise, gives you lots of um, boosts in important neurochemicals, is good for maintaining your body in health, and is something you can do even in the winter. It's actually really beneficial to do in the winter because it keeps you warm. Smashing. So maybe an element of why the UK is so obsessed with sex is because there's fuck all else to do during most of our season. Like half the year, that's going to be the most promising part of your day. Honestly, that makes the most sense. Oh, brace yourself. We haven't got to the dark theory yet. See, my dark theory, it could be that, we have hard winters, and hard winters cause a mating behavior, an escalation in mating behavior in humans. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, it would make sense why most people are conceived in winter here, right? However, if you knew anything about British history, you'd know that we'd been invaded over and over again by the Vikings, by the Anglos, by the Saxons, by the Romans, by the Picts. You know, we got invaded over and over again. So that creates a selection for rapists, for risk takers, for aggressive people, for sexually aggressive and physically aggressive people. So, like, if they're the ones who are passing on their genes because they're invading and leaving their seed, and also if the only people who are surviving these massacres are the most aggressive people and the people who can stay horny and still want to make kids even though they're being intermittently massacred, then you're going to predispose and pre select for people who are a bit more hypersexual than the average Joe, you know? Like, there is some level of temperament. You do get a default setting that you're born with. You can decide who you are, but you do get a loadout to start, a starting loadout in terms of temperament. Like, behavioral traits can be traced back to the conditions in the womb and sometimes genetics too. And I wonder if British people have a predisposition to hypersexuality because of the conditions under which a lot of the mating was conducted. Like most people, after being on ships for a barely survivable amount of time, going to another country where the weather is shit and cold, and fighting and massacring people, to be able to still be horny in those situations is a level of hypersexuality that I don't think is the norm. Personally, I think if I was out fighting in wars and invading and killing and massacring, I wouldn't be particularly horny during those times. Like, that is a pre-selection for hypersexuality that I don't know if it's this is a theory, this isn't proven or anything, but I do wonder if it has impacted us, that we were colonized over and over again, and those colonists, the most brutal, cruel colonists, were the ones that passed on their genes and mixed them with us. And the thing is, like, what did we do generations later? We went and did the same thing to many other countries. We did this in India, we did this in Africa, we did this in America, we did this in Australia. We went and exploited those countries. We colonized them, and we were also horrendous sexually as well. There was a lot of sex crimes in that as well. I wonder if that's an inherited trait, like a generational thing. I wonder if there's anything there that's imprinted into human DNA that predisposes that behavior, because mating behaviors do have some level of genetic component. So I wonder if there's been any studies into, like, is there some pass onable gene that makes you more likely to colonize? Is there a gene that makes you more likely that you can pass on? Because we were heavily, heavily, heavily invaded and colonized. And the surviving generations of people that went to live on after all of those massacres went on eventually down the line to colonize others. And I wonder if an aspect of that is why we're so hypersexual. I genuinely do. Like, I wonder if there's a way to look into it and find out if that is a predisposer at all. Like, what would you look at? Would you look at genes and their correlation to behavior? Would you look at generational trauma? Because quite often, hurt people. And we're finding out that if your grandma or your granddad or your great grandma or great granddad went through something horrific, it can affect you genetically and behaviorally. It can affect your immune system. Like, there is such a thing as generational trauma, trauma that affected you that you didn't even experience, that people in your past experienced. I wonder if this has been inflicted on us. I wonder if our hypersexuality is is it genetic? Is it generational trauma? I don't know. But that is the dark thing that I'm like, wow, I wonder if that affected us somehow. I wonder if that's an aspect of why we are so prolifically behaving like this all the time. That really, really is dark. But I think like it's a good question to ask, because there are aspects of human behavior that we're not proud of. Press one if you think that like you look at humanity in despair sometimes. Because I think most of us do. I think most of us can see problems we'd like to fix with the average human society, right? And I think understanding where the worst of those behaviors comes from can really help us to rectify it. But I feel like at the moment, the Brits, like having some really hypersexual elements to our adverts and TV shows, I don't think that's like some terrible, terrible thing. Just kind of like, meh, that's kind of weird. Anyway, like, I'm not sure if it's like something that's like some horrific side effect of all side effects. Um, Regardless of the reason, whether it's just because we're winter horny or because we're generationally traumatized horny. Like, whatever the reason, I don't know, it just leads to really weird stuff. Like, like the cartoon. What's the cartoon? There's a children's cartoon called. It's like a pirate cartoon. The Jolly Sailors. I was talking about it earlier. I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, there's a children's program here, and there are a bunch of pirates, and one of them is called Seaman Staines. The other is called Master Bates. There's one called Roger the Cabin Boy. You know, they all have like really, really hypersexual names. You wouldn't like kids wouldn't know that. They wouldn't put two and two together at all. Like we have weird shit like that in the UK where it's like we make things sexual that really don't need to be. And it's very, very bizarre. Captain Pugwash, thank you. It's on the tip of my tongue. So yeah, Pugwash is like aimed at little children. Like they were bedtime stories before they were a cartoon. And the cartoon is played in daytime TV. Yeah, from the 1970s. Exactly. To be fair, though, there are a lot of sexual themes in SpongeBob. Yeah, very, very true. Like Gen Z loves SpongeBob so much. The last two generations of people to be born infatuated with SpongeBob. Absolutely love that guy. It's crazy. There was so much more diversity here when I was younger regarding like what cartoons were cool. Like when I ask other millennials what was your favorite cartoon, I get different answers. But people who are like 27 and under seem to all like fucking SpongeBob. Like SpongeBob is so hugely popular now. You liked Ren and Stimpy and Ed and Eddie? Yeah. I liked Thundercats, Powerpuff Girls, you know. A lot of my generation liked South Park, but it was not meant for kids. Oh, Biker Mice from Mars. I remember that too. Holy shit. And there was also like a shark show, but I've forgotten the name of it. Huh. I love you. I love you, you slut. I love you. Thanks, Biggie. I appreciate it, sweetheart. Chip and Dale? Wait, is that the Chipmunk show? That's bringing back some memories. Oh. Pinky and the Brain. Yeah, I loved Pinky and the Brain. I related to Pinky but didn't know why, and now I know why. I think Pinky was one of many characters who had Tourette syndrome. Like Pinky from Pinky and the Brain, the Fern Gully, Batty from Fern Gully, Batty boy. He Fox. Who else? There's like loads of them. Jack, Father Jack from Father Ted. Uh, Father Ted's a bit of a British reference. But those of you who ever watched Father Ted would know for sure that Father Jack blatantly had Tourette's. They never said it. Blatantly had Tourette's. I mean, they do this with autism all the time. They make an analogy for autism in shows, um, but they'll call it something else or they'll not call it autism so that they don't have to take responsibility for or face any critiques for their representation of autism. Like a lot of people accuse the Big Bang Theory of doing that with Sheldon, but I feel like every robot character in sci-fi is usually that character, like Data from Star Trek or what's his name? Teal'c has a little bit of that as well in Stargate SG-1, where there's always a character like even Seven of Nine. Seven of Nine feels like another one of those where like they struggle with social cues. They can come across as blunt when they're not meaning to be blunt, They have like very like black and white um views on morality and how things should be conducted, have brilliant memories, a passion for routine. You know, a lot of stereotypes about autism apply to these characters, and there's usually one of them in every single sci fi. There's some person who conveniently has a lot of traits that are associated with autism, but they don't call it autism. Any Vulcan, yeah. I feel like the Vulcans are definitely that. What? Do they do it to mock or make them feel included? I don't know what the motivations are. Sometimes I wonder if it is to make a relatable character. Like, I think a lot of non-neurotypical people took refuge in subcultures, and there was definitely a high concentration of people who developed hyperfixations. And there are lots of different kinds of like, so people with ADHD and people with autism get hyperfixations and things like this. They also tend to struggle with social cues. People with ADHD and autism tend to not fit in very well and not understand why and things like this. So I feel like there are some subcultures that are really predisposed to collect a lot of people who fit that. Like, it's usually the nerdy people or the people with special interests and things like this, and few friends who end up being obsessed with comics or being obsessed with sci-fi or being obsessed with Warhammer models and computer games. They're refuges, and they collect a lot of people who might relate to that type of character, right? And so if you create a character that's like really relatable in that sense, that like really speaks to you and shares some of your struggles, shares some of the things that you struggle traversing, and like that commentary isn't given a label. It's just like another human being having the same troubles as you. Like, I think that probably would really appeal to the target market audience, honestly. Whoop. Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate it, sweetheart. So it's probably just marketing. My opinion is it's probably not so they can get away with taking the piss so much. I think it's probably just because they know their audience and they know how to appeal to them and milk them for money. Huh? Hey, thank you. I appreciate it, sweetheart. Cheers for the sub, not Raven. Woo. You love tits. I like my jokes like I like my cock. Red. Whoop. Oh my god, I just got that. Wow. Ooh. I love you. I love you. Whoop. You too, Mer. Have a good night. For some reason, I always thought that Mildred Hubble had autism. Don't know if that's canon, though. Mildred Hubble? That name rings a bell, but I can't remember who that is. I really wish I could remember. Hun? I'm gonna meet you at TwitchCon, you? Well, then I can't wait to give you a hug, sweetheart. What color? Lady Ray's like, the answer is not from your dad, I'd imagine. No, that's not the answer. Nobody tell her. Let her stay innocent. Hun? What's the worst thing you've eaten? I have a really terrible memory. But there are so many different things. Like, I did a charity stream where I had to put ketchup and mayo and vinegar and lemon juice and alcohol and soy milk and mix it all together. I think there was like chutney, barbecue sauce, just all this stuff put together, fruit juice, just all kinds of crap. And then I had to drink it. It was the most god awful thing. Really, really bad. Thank you ever so much for the sub, by the way. Um, One time I left some takeout out for the day. Didn't realize it had been out for an entire day. It was like some kind of noodles, and they're not supposed to be slimy. But for some reason, it was slimy, like snail slimy. Like something about it congealed. It was the most awful texture I'd ever seen in my life. Um, I used to have to scrape the mold off my butter because I couldn't afford to buy more, student life things. Um, I've also eaten moldy bread because there wasn't anything else to eat for days. That was not fun. Mold tastes like dirt. It really does. It tastes like soil. And it was proper blue. It does. It tastes earthy. It does. It's not great. Makes you cough dust. Huh, I'm glad we all agree that mold tastes like soil. Mm-mm. Not fun. Glad I don't have to eat that anymore. The fucks. I don't know. What's the worst thing you guys have ever eaten? You bitch. got pasta once and it tasted like actual cardboard. Yeah, I kind of feel like pasta has to be eaten fresh. I swear pasta goes stale, and nobody wants to acknowledge it, but it fucking does. Like it goes a weird texture and consistency, and no matter what sauce you put on it, it's like it sucks all of the sauce flavor out of it, makes it bad.
Last one for the night. I went to the zoo yesterday and saw a baguette in a cage.
What?
It was bred in captivity.
At least it was the last one. I put an actual spoonful of dirt in my mouth when I was a kid once. Sounds great. Some people eat Tide Pods and cinnamon. And there's a hot chip that's so spicy that sometimes when people eat it, they die. You just buy one of them. I think it's a black crisp that you can just order and it just comes in a little box, one whole crisp. And some people eat it and they actually die. Like you can Google it. Like it's so spicy it kills people sometimes. 35p Aldi noodles. I suppose I'm blessed to the rest of the world. Fuck me, that was like gourmet back in my student years. Like I had like 35p ramen yesterday. Like I could eat anything and I still enjoy those. Like I still look forward to them. Do you like tits? Playing in the sand as a kid, eating it, finding dog poop? No! Oh my god, I think you win. That poor fucker wins. Reminds me, I had like a stepsister, I think that's the word for it, for a while, for a few years of my life. And she was saying that one time, she was eating chocolate on a hot day as a little kid. She dropped the chocolate and it was like all melty onto the pavement. So she picked it up and put it in her mouth and she realized she'd eaten a piece of dog poo, like an actual piece of dog poo. Awful, awful, awful. Anybody drink from a hose as a kid? Do you know what's really bad? I'm pretty sure I never did, but I can already imagine what that tasted like and smelt like. Like it immediately gives me this visual of a summer day and like a green hose pipe with like weird, almost a fish scale pattern on it, like crosshatch of stitching over it. So it's like got a diamond pattern essentially. It's green with like a little diamond pattern on it. And like it smells kind of plasticky. The moisture in the air is really detectable against the backdrop of the dusty, hot smell of earth and like really dried out grass. So that says to me that maybe when I was very, very little, I might have done. Like that is way too specific a memory. GG. What? You win. I wish I loved you. You fucking slut. Would you vote for Nigel Farage? No. Fuck no. That guy was awful. He lied to the public and was incredibly smug about it. Do you remember when he was telling everyone that if we voted for Brexit, then all of the money that's currently going to the EU would magically go to the NHS? How the fuck did that work out? Completely lied. Completely fucking lied. There were no agreed terms for Brexit. There was no Brexit before people voted for it. Like Brexit wouldn't look like anything specific until you asked for it. Like so they had no Brexit to offer. A Brexit is like you exit the EU and you decide who's going to trade with who. Like what rules you're going to be beholden to, like there's loads of regulations and things that need to change, and like how they would change or what they would look like next, no one had agreed on, so no one knew what they were voting for. This dude said, don't worry, if you vote for Brexit, then we'll give all of the money to the NHS. Did they? Fuck. That is absolutely not what happened. And when he got pulled up on that lie, he just went, and he smugly laughed on a daytime TV show, like, "Joke's on you for believing me." Like, and the funny thing is, like, eventually over time, after investigations, I'm pretty sure, you need to fact check it because sometimes my memory's bad. I'm pretty sure we found out that he knew he was lying too. I swear that was a scandal. That not only did he lie, but he knew he was lying and that the lie would fuck us over, and he lied anyway. I swear that was a thing. So, you know, I am very, very surprised that that man is even welcome in the UK after what he did, let alone being voted for by people. How stupid. Like, how short people. I have a terrible memory and I still remember that. Like, if I can know better, surely anyone can. Because I can't remember what I had for lunch. But yeah, I'm very, very surprised that anyone likes that man. I'm very, very surprised that he's ever been able to make such a big comeback after all the scandals he's been in. It's crazy to me. Really, really crazy. Wait, what? Are you on the road? No, I'm not on the road. This would be a fancy looking road. But yeah, I don't think I'm the best person to tell you who to vote for.
Nice.
I kind of feel like vote for whoever you see fit. You're still welcome here. I don't really care. I think like part of being an adult for me was realizing that you don't have to align with people on everything. in order to still be mostly the same as every other person on the planet. Like, by and large, you have so much more in common with the people you hate than you do differences. And I think forgetting that is half the reason why we have so many problems. So, whatever you decide to vote for, good for you. Just remember to fucking vote, please. So few people actually do. In America, the turnout's terrible. Half the reason why their politics is in shambles is because so few people vote. But yeah, I wish I could keep on hanging out with you. I've had a lot of fun though. I am gonna go, but it's been great. Thank you so much for chilling with me and having like just a chill sit-in stream. Um, Saturday will be the beginning of Gothmas. So if we hit £1,000 for charity on Saturday, then I will do a goth stream. And we'll see how far that goes. For every 1,000, I will do an extra day of goth. And we'll see. Yeah. I doubt we'll be able to beat Christmas though. The whole Gothmas thing of like having an entire month of goth streams was insane. But like I still think we could do a lot of real good in the world. With the power of lipstick. Whoop. You're gonna try and get food now? I don't know what I'm gonna do. Well, I know I'm gonna get a bunch of work done. I have loads of ridiculously stupid tasks. Boring, annoying, grown-up tasks. I have to adult because I'm spending all day tomorrow doing fun stuff and there won't be any time to adult. So I have to cram in all of my adulting tonight as much as I possibly can before I fall asleep. Wish me luck. I'm not very good.
Jebated. One more, where do bees go to the toilet to pee? The BP jokes shall never end.
How many of
Why
these
is
are
the
there?
Discord mod sad today? Because they have to press a button to show a dumb shit message instead of deleting it.
Ha. You guys are an absolute riot. Thanks for that. You know, I used to really be excited for donos. In the first year of streaming, you know, I used to be like, oh, someone donated. That's so cool. And now when I hear that noise, it's like dread. I'm like, oh no, what now? What have you done? Makes me happy as fuck. There's something wrong with you then, Juice. Yeah. I will I will see you all on Saturday. I hope you have an amazing weekend. And I'm going to be planning some more community events. So if you haven't signed up to our Discord, please do. Make sure you read the rules. Otherwise, the whole Discord is going to be incredibly confusing. But if you read the rules fully and accept them, then, you know, you'll actually be able to stay and you won't get banned. And you will actually understand how everything works. So, yeah. Because we want to do some more Discord stuff together. Like sometimes we hold competitions, like drawing competitions. Sometimes we game together. Sometimes we play. Sometimes we cook together. Those are fun. I know that most weekends people get together and they drink in a VC as well. So that's pretty cool. Like there's loads of cool stuff that happens on the Discord. So if you haven't joined yet, you should. It's in the channel description, and I think you can just put exclamation mark tits, exclamation mark. Shh. Exclamation mark Discord, I think. And you'll get it. Whoop. Thanks for the stream. Thanks for being here. It's been nice hanging out. It's been cool chilling with you. Okay. Bye for now. For realsies. For realsies, bye.